6 o'clock, we'll call a meeting to order for the regular meeting of August the 16th. I'd like to welcome everyone to our meeting, and if I could ask you to silence your telephone and please stand and join me in pledging the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, and again, welcome to our August meeting. Consideration of the adoption of the agenda. Is there any corrections to the agenda or any additions? I have one that I would like to add on under new business, which would be item 5 under new business, and it'll be Christmas tree lights, Christmas lighting for the upcoming year. So we'll add that for number 5 with the council approval. Do I hear a motion to add that?
I'll make a motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, executive session. I don't know of a need for executive session. Okay. No executive session. Okay, item 4, consideration adoption of the minutes of July the 19th. I hear a motion. I assume everybody got a copy of the minutes. No corrections, I entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minute.
Have a motion, item A, which is regular council meeting July the 19th for approval. I have a second.
Second.
Second, all in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Okay, item B, executive session meeting of the same date, July the 19th, 16th. I have a motion.
Make a motion.
Have a motion, have a second. Second. All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Item 5, acknowledgements, proclamation, resolution. There being none under old business. There being none. New business. Under administration, we have item 1 for South Intergovernmental Agreement for the 911 services. Dana, I think you had the IGA agreement for the 911 services.
Yes, sir. This is an update that has been requested by the county. It is related to their insurance and requirements of 911 emergency services request. It basically just adds a new miscellaneous section, which is, as you see on, basically it's 2 pages. We would recommend that the council approve it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you got it in your packet if you wanted to go through with it, but it's pretty well explanatory what the 911 service is, and it's recommended approval by council. So do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Have a second? In discussion. All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, the item 2, intergovernmental agreement. That's maintenance of isolated portions of annexed properties, which the county has asked us to take over portions of roads. Some of these roads that the county has requested to be annexed is the city don't have property annexed across the road, so therefore we own on one side of the road but don't own on the other side. So I don't think the city is obligated to maintain and upkeep the roads under those circumstances. Where we have, the city has property on both sides of the road, I understand that. So I would recommend this be postponed and sent to staff and bring back a recommendation at the September meeting.
I agree, so moved.
Got a motion to postpone it till the September meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
In discussion. All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much.
I might add there, Mr. Mayor, is these, this maintenance that they want done, is that in Forsyth County?
It is.
In another county?
No, it's in It's in the city. It's in the city. But the city's annexation on a lot of the property over the years, it just goes to the road, it don't cross the road.
Right.
So it's several roads that needs to be looked at. Staff will bring us back a recommendation at the next meeting. Okay, item 3 is the Brooks Farm Road. This is a road that was a lot of discussion about last year, and there is some homes that has been started construction, but prior to being permitted, they were required to give some property for expansion of the road, and the 6 lots that were on that Brooks Farm Road was required to pay for the improvement. I'm advised to date we have 4 of the lots that has paid the fees, and the other 2 at the time of permit, and they'll pay their fees. So it's projected cost of improvement of the road, and Brooks Farm Road, as you know, is a substandard road, and bring it into conformity with the street department would require widening each lane to 11 foot, and had to be a curb and gutter and sidewalk. And Steve, you had I think at one time, whenever all this was going on, you had a price for that cost.
Yes, sir. It's been, when this started, it's been a couple of years, probably need to get an update, but it was like $180,000 to build that lane of road. And at present, we've collected about $106,000.
Okay.
But now that 180 or so was for the full length. Like you said, those 2 lots on the end, we've yet to get any kind of request there, so you'd have to take that into consideration.
So I'd recommend that we go ahead and widen that road, let a contractor do that project, based on the fact that we have $100 and some odd $1,000, and take the other out of the contingency fund, and it'll come back into this contingency whenever they get permits for the other lots.
Now, why do you want to do that? Why do you recommend we do that?
To go ahead and widen the road and bring it up to standards.
We made them pay for the improvements, and we haven't done it yet. We made them pay for the improvements, those 6 lot owners, and 2 of them have not started building their homes yet, so they'll pay when they permit, but 4 have.
We've made 4 pay.
We've made 4 pay, and they want
okay.
their road improved.
Okay.
Yeah, Brooks Farm Road is parallel with Ridgecrest on the north side.
Okay.
So the chair will entertain a motion for the widening of Brooks Farm Road.
That'd be with a sidewalk and everything, right?
Yes, sidewalk on the north side.
I make a motion that we do it.
Have a motion to have a second?
I second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, item 4, Lanier 400 Parkway, sign for juvenile court. That's on the new Lanier Parkway that's built off of Ball Ridge Road and between Pilgrim Mill. Steve, you have information on that, I believe.
Yes, sir. They came and asked for the council would consider the sign they used to have there, which is still there, is down there at Ball Ridge Road, and it says juvenile court this way, which worked good when this way was only to their way. But now that the road continues through there, they say they have people that get up there and don't know to turn and go up the hill, and they'd like to put one sign, a wooden sign right there at the turn where you turn to go up the hill to the court in the right-of-way there.
If you'll notice in your
it's
packet,
like a temporary sign. It's a wooden sign, 3 by 4 foot, 6 foot high. It's not a tremendous thing, but just for directional purposes.
if you'll notice in your packet, 8/11/20, well, this was given to us 8/11. Steve's got it dated here. You got a map of it, and if you come into Cumming on Ball Ridge Road, just as you approach Lanier Parkway, which goes up to the Boys Lodge and the old motel, the section up there, in that corner there, you'll see the arrow, and that's where Forsyth County Juvenile Court wants to put a sign. So I'd have no problem with it, and I don't think it's an issue as far as site, but they need juvenile court sign for the location of their, the juvenile court's in the old motel. They remodeled it and put a lot of the court, the sheriff's facilities is also up there. So I assume it's going to be a big enough sign to put several things on. They said juvenile court. So we told them we'd bring it before the board. So what's the pleasure of the board?
I make a motion that we authorize them to put them up the sign.
I have a motion from Lewis. To have a second?
Second.
Second. In discussion. All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, item 5. This is in reference to the lights that the city puts through the town every year. Those lights are about 20-year-old and being taken down and put up every year for the last 20 years. They gotten worn real bad, and they say that they all need to be rewired. The wiring's burnt out on them. It's going to cost $40,000. I understand Steve tells me that it's going to cost to rewire, and we got about 250 lamps that we put on the poles around Cumming in all directions. And they can be replaced with brand new ones, and Steve has a brochure on that for, what did you say, $60,000, Steve?
Yes, sir. It's about a 60% of the cost of a new one to refurbish it. But that's roughly the amounts we got. You're talking $60,000 for new ones as opposed to $40,000 to try to fix the old ones.
I'd buy new one.
So these are new ones, and I think we'd be better served with putting them up every year. That's the way we do is get brand new lights. So
Well, that'd probably be the LED lights too.
they would be new light LED. I believe that's what you said with LED.
New ones have the LED light.
Yeah.
Save you some electricity.
So
What would it cost if we did not own lights and we just paid one of these companies to put them? I know there's companies that will come in from municipalities and put up lights, take them down. You don't ever own them. Have we ever looked at what that would cost?
No, sir, not to my knowledge, we haven't.
I think the people that Steve is talking about, the company, there's ones that's done the city's lights for some years, and they put up the lights every year. And what's the fee to put up the lights and take them down, Steve?
For the 200, and I think we actually got like 270 lights, they take them up, put them down, work them every year with new light bulbs and paint the fixtures and all, and they store them for us for $16,000.
At a contract price,
A contract price. We don't have to ever touch them. And for some of us who was around that used to keep all that stuff up in the fire hall at the city hall, it's been nice not to have to worry about that and renting places to put them up ourselves. Chuck, I'm not familiar with anyone, company about that.
That might be something to look into it for next year. I don't think we'd have time to work it maybe this year, Chuck, but look into it and see what maybe we could lease them for per piece. We got 250 wreaths and lights. Some of them smaller than others, but something to look into.
Steve, does every fixture need to be refurbished or replaced, or is there a...
We actually have like 280, and there was like 45 that we purchased in the maybe 2004. They said those were okay for a few minutes. What was happening, the simple out in the weather thing, even though they're stored inside, the wiring harnesses were getting corroded. I mean, the sockets themselves, and when you try to clean that out to get a good connection, they were just crumbling because of this dry rotting, basically, and then your wiring's getting frayed too in places. That was the purpose. She just called and mentioned me and suggested the two possibilities.
After they've been used that long, the coating on the wires gets brickled and breaks off, so it's dangerous to even have them. So I'd recommend to go with the new lights. I think that'd be the best.
They'll last longer that way anyway, too.
I make a motion that we purchase new Christmas lights
Have a
for
motion.
everyone's enjoyment.
Have a motion from Chuck. Have a second.
Second.
Second, Linda. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, under item B, planning and zoning, Ventura Park. Scott, I think you've worked with that.
Yes,
got
sir,
a
Mayor.
recommendation.
You remember several years ago, we annexed Ventura Park into the city. It's up off Pilgrim Mill Road. They have come to the city recently, made a request. They have been paying for the operation of their streetlights in Ventura Industrial Park for 28 years or more. They now are requesting that the city take the overpayment of those lights. There's 8 lights that are Georgia Power lights. There are 2 lights that are Sony EMC. And both Georgia Power and Sony have said they will upgrade those fixtures to LED lights. Ventura Park will pay for those upgrades. And then after that point, both of the electric companies would go along with the fact that of reinforcing that request that the lights payment of operation monthly payment be taken over by the city. I know you have information in your packet in there which shows what the lights cost, breakdown of the lights on a monthly bill for 2015 by Sony, EMC, and Georgia Power. So you can see it costs them roughly about $3,477 a year for all 10 of those lights, and they're simply, Ventura Park is making a request that the city take over payment of the monthly bill.
In other words, it's the power companies, they'll come in and put new LED heads on all the poles, put all new lights, wiring.
Yes, sir.
And currently the bills are running around $250 a month.
Yes, sir.
So the LED lights will probably reduce that fee.
It probably will. They run more efficient and less cost, so chances are that fee will be less.
I have a question. Do we normally pay for the street lights on the roads that we own?
We do, yes, ma'am.
Most of the roads we own have street lights?
Yeah.
A good number of them do, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
The city's policy has been when we annex a piece of property development in, that if the roads are new paved and the lights are new, it's been the policy of the city to take responsibility of it.
Yes, sir, it
So
is.
that's been the city's policy.
We should have took them over when we annexed the property, but we got by with it for a while.
Yes, sir, we did.
Well, we're getting new lights, LED lights. So what's the pleasure of the board? I hear a motion.
I move that we accept these street lights and take them over.
Okay, I have a motion. Linda, have a second? Second. In discussion. All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Item 2, annexation request number 2016275, Sullivan. Scott?
Yes, sir. You have in your packets here a staff report. I'd like to read that into the record, and then, of course, after that time, we would have to have open a public hearing to have any comments before you consider action on this annexation. The property owner has made application to the proper authorities to annex 0.47 acres, more or less, into the city and rezone it to highway business with no proposed conditions. The proposed annexation and rezoning is in conformance with the City of Cumming comprehensive and future land use plans. Forsyth County has stated they have no objections to the proposed annexation. You have that letter in your packet. The Planning Board held a public hearing on July 19th, and with no opposition present, recommended approval of the annexation and rezoning to highway business as requested. I'll be happy to answer any questions before you open it for a public hearing.
Okay. Have a request, annexation 2016275 for 0.47 acres. Mr. Sullivan, this is, my understanding, this is, of course, your map shows this is an island in the city, right?
Yes, sir. It does have, it is contiguous to the ramp on Highway 400. Yes, sir.
And of course, this is not recommended to have islands within the municipal government anyway, so it's a policy to, whenever the property owner requests it, to be annexed into the city. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. Have a request then for the Annexation 2016275. Do I have a motion?
Sir, before you make the motion, could we open?
We need a public hearing?
Public hearing, yes, sir.
Oh, okay. All right. I hear a motion to have a public hearing.
So moved.
Got a motion to have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Okay, is there anyone here like to speak in favor of annexation 2016275? Anybody like to speak in opposition? Hear a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Okay, we'll bring it back before the board for the annexation request on Sullivan public hearing with nobody either way, for or against. So I would assume they're for it. 2016275. I hear a motion.
Make the motion.
Have a motion, have a second.
Second.
In discussion. All in favor signify by raising your hand.
Sir, that is a
Unanimous.
motion to annex and to rezone to highway business,
Right,
correct?
just like you presented it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have an annexation request number 2016276, Northside Hospital for Forsyth. Scott?
Yes, sir. Again, if you'll refer to the staff report in your packet, the property owner has made application to the proper authorities to annex 3 parcels totaling 14.473 acres, more or less, into the city and rezoning them to institutional without conditions. The proposed annexation and rezoning is in conformance with the City of Cumming comprehensive and future land use plans. Forsyth County has stated they have no objections to the proposed annexation. You have that letter in your packet. The Planning Board held a public hearing on July 19th and with no opposition present, recommended approval of the annexation and rezoning to institutional as requested. Again, be happy to answer any questions before you open the public hearing.
Okay. I hear a motion, we open it for a public hearing.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Okay, is anyone here that'd like to speak in favor of the annexation 2016276, Northside Hospital for Forsyth? Anybody like to speak in opposition? Hear a motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, this is 3 pieces of property, Scott.
Yes, sir, it is. 3 separate
Okay.
pieces.
What's the pleasure of the board? I have a motion.
I have a motion.
Motion for Quincy to have a second.
Second.
In discussion. All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. Item 4, Elm Street, name change for a portion of the road. This is a request to change Elm Street. As most of you know, the elementary school, Cumming Elementary, was changed several years ago to Almond Hill Educational Center. And Almond Hill was a fixture in Cumming, Georgia for many, many years. And he was a superintendent of schools. He was a teacher. He was a basketball coach. He was a janitor. He did a little bit of everything. And he was a great humanitarian for Cumming and Forsyth County. Many, many ball games I went to that he coached, and also he carried many of the teams to state tournaments and won many trophies. So Almond Hill was a great humanitarian, and requested, the family has requested a portion of Elm Street, which goes by the school named after him. And this is a portion from Betty's Triple Gap Road going west to Highway 20. It's about a little strip that goes there. And I agree. I think it should be named Almond Hill Drive, and that's what's been recommended by. But I'd like to have a public hearing on that. So with that, I have a motion that we open it up for public hearing.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Does anyone like to speak in favor of changing Elm Street to Almond Hill Drive? Anybody would like to speak in opposition? All in favor signify by raising your hand.
That we close it.
I have a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Have a second? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Scott, you didn't have any information on that, did you?
No, sir. The only, I don't have any information. The only question I have, do we want to rename it to Almond Hill Drive or Almond Hill Street?
Maybe street. I may wrote it down wrong. Maybe it was Almond Hill Street. Yeah. Louis, do you have any information on that? You had talked to the Pitt family too.
No,
Was Elm
I
Street?
don't.
It was Elm Street,
I think
right?
either one
It
is
was Elm
fine.
Street. Yeah,
Street sounds better.
I'd leave it street.
Okay, Almond Hill Street then. That's what, since
That
it's
would
Elm Street.
conform more with the naming of the local
Okay.
streets.
All right. Yeah, did I ask for a motion on that?
Nope, but I'll give you a motion to
You give me a
change
motion.
that portion of Elm Street to
All right.
Almond Hill Street.
Okay, have a motion from Linda. Have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. We'll authorize the street department to order the signs, Scott, if you would do that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Item C, under utilities, award bid for Twin Branch wastewater pump station. John?
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, the Department of Utilities advertised for bids for this piece of infrastructure that will be constructed just off of Eccles Road, the southernmost Eccles Road that's off of Highway 20, going towards the Chattahoochee River. We received 5 bids, and the low bid was from Willow Construction Company in the amount of $1,054,990. And we've worked with Willow Construction before, and we, as the Department of Utilities and our engineering firm, recommends accepting the low bid from Willow Construction.
Okay. Willow Construction Company, low bid of $1,054,990. Is that right?
That's correct.
I noticed in the bid where I assume this is the policy of most people that bid, they put contingency in there for $50,000.
That's
Is
correct.
that in case of change orders or anything they might come up against?
That's typical how we do the bids.
That's better than making change orders.
That's right. We don't like change
And really
orders for sure.
overcharging on change orders.
Okay, this is, we requested of last meeting, no, not last meeting, maybe in February, when we requested this to be done, and we just now got all the plans and the bids back. So the low bid was $1,054,990 from Willow Construction. The high bid, Mid-South Builders, $1,709,000. This was had 5 bids on it, so it was good. Chair will entertain a motion at the recommendation of Director of Utilities. Motion from Quincy to have a second.
Second.
In discussion. All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Okay, under item 2, award bid for Hughes Drive at Mountain Road Water Booster Pump Station.
Similarly, the Department of Utilities advertised for bids for a water booster station to force water up the mountain for our high water service elevation area. We received 6 bids for this project. The low bid was in the amount of $1,172,000 from Soul Construction. And we've worked with Soul in the past, and they're a very efficient company. And so therefore, the Department of Utilities, along with the city's consulting engineer, recommends accepting the low bid from Soul Construction Company.
I noticed PF Moon Construction, which was second lowest in our previous bid, they didn't bid on this. This year we had 6 bidders, but they didn't bid on this one.
I'm not sure why, but that's another good company. But they were about $300,000 more.
All right. This was requested to have John to advertise for the bids, and he's come back with a recommendation of the low bid Soil Construction LLC for $1,772,000. This comes out of the contingency or reserve, or was this budgeted, John?
This comes out of the contingency in the reserve fund.
Okay. All right. All right. Chair will entertain a motion for the low bid of $1,172,000 to Soil Construction LLC.
I make a motion that we accept the bid.
I have a motion from Linda. Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Item 3, request to advertise bids for Stony Mountain water tanks painting.
As each of you know, through the years, you've seen the Stony Mountain water tanks that are on Highway 20 going towards Canton. They're now hidden by trees, difficult to see them. But these tanks are similar to all the rest of our tanks. They're constructed of steel, and it's been about 11 years since we actually went in, and the steel tends to rust on the inside and sometimes on the outside, and the paint dulls. And the way we protect these tanks and protect our investment is to keep them painted and maintained and looked after. So we're requesting, and this was in the budget, to go to the Stony Mountain tank, drain it, inspect the inside, and paint it and renovate the entire thing so that we can maintain it and maintain the investment that we've made in the Stony Mountain tanks.
And
How long will a tank last?
If you take care of it, probably many years,
Really?
as long as you keep it painted and taken care of.
Scott, you're talking about storage, elevated tanks of treated water.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Okay. And those are the ones that gets corroded up inside with all the chemicals over the years.
They
and where
do.
it is, and it has to be sandblasted and recoated.
That's right. There's, the
Powder
chlorine
coating.
tends to get in there and, eat the metal up. So
You said this has been 11 years, right?
Yeah.
So
it's been about
pretty
11
good.
years since we drained it, did maintenance on it.
Okay, we have a request to advertise for bids for Stony Mountain water tank painting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a second? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous.
Thank you, Mayor. and
Thank you,
Council.
John. Okay, request for condemnation. Kim Gap, Canton Highway.
That's correct. The city is working on installing a pressurized force main sewer line from Chambly Gap Road, up Chambly Gap Road, and across 20 to Bethelview to discharge into a gravity sewer line on Bethelview Road. So the city's policy when we're installing infrastructure in state right-of-way is to come outside the right-of-way by about 10 feet and obtain an easement so that we can protect our investment in the infrastructure in the event the road is widened. And of course, we know Highway 20 towards Kent is going to be widened. So we've been working with probably about 12 property owners along Highway 20, Canton Highway, and we've obtained the majority of those easements except for these two, and these two have been hard to even get in touch with. This one specifically that we're talking about is they have a company called Kim Gap, and we're requesting that the mayor and council allow us to turn this over to our city attorney and possibly, move forward with condemnation if the city attorney is not able to contact the folks and to work out a negotiated easement deal.
Does this property have a structure or anything on it you're talking about?
I don't believe so. I believe this is an empty lot.
And basically, it's probably somebody that lives out of town, out of the county, maybe out of state.
Yes, sir. That's
Investment
correct.
type people.
That's correct.
Okay.
They're right beside each other, so do you think it's the same?
They are. We don't think so because one appears to live in Norcross and the other's out of state in Hollywood, Maryland. So we don't think they're related.
All you're gonna do is just, what, run what? A new
Sewer.
line through?
It's a pressure sewer line. We're building a pump station down low on Chambly Gap Road, and the pump will pump into a force main. That force main will pump over the hill.
Right,
In
so all
essence-
you're gonna do to their property is what?
But we're going to try to get a 10-foot easement right outside the right-of-way. So it's not land really that they could build on, except maybe a driveway or a parking lot. And that's permissible. If they want to pave over this line, it's fine. So really our impact to them is only positive because we're providing sewer for their property so that they could develop it in the future.
Thank you.
Okay, item 4 is request condemnation, Kim Gap Canton Highway. Chair will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Have a motion, have a second.
Second.
In discussion. All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Item 5, request for condemnation on Kim Young and Kim Hay on Canton Highway.
Similarly, these are property owners that we are not able to contact and that we've attempted to via mail, U.S. mail, and telephone. And we have a right-of-way acquisition specialist that's been looking for them. The property identification number on this property is 078-008. It is on Canton Highway, and it does not have an address. And Kim Young and Kim Hay are the two property owners, and we're requesting that we be able to do the same thing, to either try to negotiate with them and turn this over to the city attorney so that he can either find them and negotiate with them or condemn the property.
You hadn't been able to talk to them?
Have not been able to find them or contact them at all.
There's nothing on this property.
There's nothing. These two properties, from an aerial view, appear to be empty lots, investment properties.
Chair will entertain a motion for condemnation of Kim Young and Kim Hay on Canton Highway. Have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by raising your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Mayor and the members of the City Council.
Okay, under announcements, we have comprehensive plan, public hearing at 7 o'clock in this room of the committee, and I understand it'll be a public hearing also. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Comprehensive land plan of the city of Cumming. And also under announcements, we have the Cumming Playhouse Classic Nashville Roadshow with Jason Petty and Katie Dale, which will be playing 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. on August 27th. And Katie Dale is a Patsy Cline lookalike, and it's Governor Dale's daughter. So she'll be in concert at the Playhouse on the 28th at 2 shows. So if you haven't got your tickets, you better get it. It's probably sold out. But anyway, that's going on at the Cumming Playhouse. And also, the World Rodeo will be going on at the fairground on September the 4th, September the 2nd, 3rd, and the 4th at 8 o'clock and at 7 o'clock. So if you like rodeos, and it's always a big show at the Riding the Bulls, you'll get to see a lot of bull riding at the World Championship Rodeo at the fairground on September the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So with that said, any other business to come before this board? I hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So move.
Second. All in favor? Raise your hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much.
Yeah.